Hello, guys. See how much Labour Party Gubernatorial Candidate for Delta State Ken Pela will increase the minimum wage of workers in Delta State if elected as the governor of Delta States. In fact, in addition to this, he has also promised to provide better health care, infrastructure, good roads, and the rest of them. Let's just hear him as he speaks at the Channels Television.
Has ports in Warri, Sapele, Burutu, and one we wonder how much of help, because we're talking about interconnectivity now, so transportation shouldn't only be in only one aspect. So are you looking in that direction?
Yeah,
and what are you going to do specifically?
At this point, let me give you my plan.
Go ahead, please.
All right? We have a vision to build a better Delta where righteousness, harmony, and prosperity reigns. Now, that's a basic roadmap.
That's an ideological concept that you're bringing.
It's a concept, all right? It's rooted in the from consumption to production vision of our principle for Nigeria. And what we look at doing is we want to enthrone righteousness. Righteousness here simply means doing the right thing. That's the foundation. Part of the problem is being the foundation. Accountability and integrity. Fairness, equity, and justice.
Have those been lacking before?
They have.
In what sense?
I'll give an example with regards to, when I talk about fairness, equity, and justice. We have 3 new universities that have been built in Delta State. 2 of them are built in the Delta North area. That's not fair. That's not equitable. That's not just. Right? And I can count so many other examples, but I don't think we have the time to go through all that. I just want to go through my roadmap. All right, can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, fairness, equity, and justice, eliminate waste and corruption, mass participation of people in government, reorientating the values of our people. That's the foundation. We believe that when we do that, we will be able to create harmony in the land. But we will enable harmony by putting in place state and a well-equipped state and community policing. Now, we believe that when we put those 2 together, fairness, righteousness together with peace and harmony, it creates an environment where prosperity can thrive. We've had a situation where companies have left Delta, all right? The economy of Delta has gone down because of youth restiveness and a lot of things. But when we put these 2 together, you will have that kind of situation. Now, we're not just going to leave that to go on its own. If you notice, I'm not talking too much about building roads. I'm not talking too much about healthcare and all that, because those are the rights of our people. I guarantee Deltans that they will have the best roads, the best hospitals, and the best schools. But what we will do is to engender the prosperity in the land. And we have an 8-point agenda, 8 prosperity drivers that will enable prosperity. The first is that we'll pay a living wage.
What amount are you looking at?
We plan to increase the minimum wage progressively to 100,000 naira a month.
So when you, in the first few months on getting into office, is it 30,000 naira nationally?
Naira now.
So what mark are you putting?
We are looking at about 60,000 for the first few
Almost
months.
Immediately?
Yes, almost immediately.
Do you have what it takes? You said that your state is one of the most borrowed states.
Yes.
Where would you get the money from?
Okay. I pointed out the fact that we have states that are using about 100 billion to run recurrent expenditure. We use double that, more than double that. We're going to cut waste and corruption to ensure that money is freed for such things. Okay? In 2019, miscellaneous items in our budget, actual, was over 30 billion. Miscellaneous, over 30 billion. We're going to cut those things. Can I go?
Go ahead.
Okay. So the second key prosperity driver is fiscal autonomy for our local governments. Today, the funds that are to come to local governments don't all get to local governments. Their toll gates on their way will ensure they get the funds, will ensure the quality of people in those local governments are improved, and the people are held accountable. The people hold the local government leaders accountable for the funds that come to them. The key prosperity driver, prosperity driver is we plan to a social investment scheme where we will give 1 million naira each in interest-free loans payable over 4 years to 100 people in every local government of the state every month.
And you have how many local government areas?
25.
25. So 100 people, that's about 2,500.
Yes. We're looking at about 30 billion a year. Okay. I just pointed out miscellaneous items, 30 billion. Okay. We believe that when we cut waste and corruption, we'll be able to take care of those things.
Mr. Pela, I mean, you are Labour Party, and the heart of Labour Party is a plight of workers. So you've talked about how much you increase the wage.
Yes.
There's been this back and forth about teachers in Delta State, and the national bill that was signed by the president, the order signed by the president on the increase of the age of practice by teachers. What is your own party's ideology in that respect?
Pointed out the fact that we are the workers' party, right? We have the workers' interest at heart. Our policies will be geared towards ensuring that the workers get the best of life. That's what will happen. The issue you just raised, we would look at and ensure that they get the best of what they're looking for.
So in what sense? Because, I mean, I've heard some of your party members and your chieftains of your, members of your party and leaders who have talked about how workers are behind them, how the NLC members are behind them, how the teachers are their strength. Could you be more specific about what they stand to gain? Should they stand with your party at the polls on Saturday?
Okay, the minimum wage is the base
of what you will do.
Of what we will do.
That is on one hand.
Is on one hand. That's the base of what we will do.
Did you go to sleep when you become governor? Should you become governor?
Yes.
You will increase their salary. They should hold on to that.
They should hold me on to it.
Secondly, in terms of the benefit to their livelihood, what again would they benefit? Today,
we have salaries being owed. We would ensure that salaries are paid on time. Pensions are owed. We'll ensure that arrears of pensions are cleared and they are paid on time. Okay? In Delta, they talk about arrears. They talk about a lot of things that are not being paid. We'll ensure that the civil servants get what is due to them.
On a final note, Mr. Pela, your state is an rich state. In that sense, it has an edge over several other states in the Federation because it has a special fund, a 13% derivation fund that goes into the pocket of that is being shared among some states that are being classified as oil-producing states on the Federation. First, I'd like to know whether or not you will probe the funds that have gone into that state in that respect. Would you be doing that? Should you become governor?
I've been asked the question about whether I'll probe government generally. And my answer is I prefer to look at the front rather than look at the rear view mirror. But I also understand that there are certain things that would have happened that would be too difficult to stomach, all right, in terms of the kind of impunity, in terms of the kind of stealing, for lack of a better word, that went on. If we have such situations when we look at it, we will deal with it with the full force of the law.
So you will not look away from those funds and how it's been spent?
I will not look away.
Would you spend it differently?
I definitely will.
How would you spend it differently?
We would ensure that the funds are utilized for the benefit of the people.
So you don't have a plan on where you put the money?
No, we do have a plan. The Super Deck, the oil funds are supposed to go for development of the areas. You didn't let me finish my plan.
But because of time.
Yes, I do understand.
Yeah, I have my specific questions.
Yes. So, but those funds are meant for the development of the areas. Currently, they're not being used for the development of the areas. They're being shared. We're putting in place a master plan that will enable us to develop those areas.
We need to close now.
Okay.
Should you become, or should you be voted on Saturday, what kind of government do you think people should know you for? Or what kind of governor would you like to be noted for? Should you be elected?
I would like to be noted and remembered as a governor who change the trajectory of Delta. Delta has been sliding for the last 24 years. We've gone from good to bad to worse. And there's a danger that it will get worse. That's what I tell people. We would change the trajectory. We will start a climb. And putting in place, we have a vision to build a better Delta where righteousness, harmony, and prosperity reigns. That's what I would like to remember.
Ken Pela, Labour Party governorship candidate. I wish you the very best in the poll. It's not going to be an easy one.